dirty gleam. It was like she wanted to hurt me. I seen it before, a beautiful night. I thought it could just be the white wine. Oh, here we go. It's a showdown between Geminis. Someone's going down, but it ain't gonna be me.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Brooklyn Prepper. Q&A time. All right. Let's see how this plays out. You know, I got a couple PMs, right, for Q&A with Brooklyn Prepper. All right. This is the first episode. All right. I hope it goes well. And like, remember, listen. Even if you think it's a silly question, if you think it's a stupid question, send it. There's no such thing as a stupid question. All right, so I'm feeling good. I'm ready to do my Q&A little video here. All right, so let's get this started. All right, okay. I got first of all, I got a PM from a guy called Johnny Boy 41. Okay, and he sent me a link to a YouTube video, which basically was really interesting. He just wrote me that here's a video I thought you would like, and look at it. And Johnny Boy 41, I did like it. It was great. All right, I'm gonna put the link below onto this video. It's about these school kids and everything that were making these gardens on walls. Like, you gotta watch it. It's really nice. It's heartwarming, you know, to see some kids doing some good. And you know, and it's just a new way of doing it. They were just growing vegetables and everything on a wall. It was like crazy. Just watch it. Believe me, you enjoy it. Okay. All right. Here's a little question from Storm Chaser CC. Okay, this really has nothing to do with prepping really, but he just asked me what my advice would I do, right? What happens? This guy lives in a complex and stuff, and he has a lot of kids running across his roof, right? And he's setting alarms off, and his automatic lights go off all the time for these kids running back. And he asked my advice. What would you do? What would I do? What would I want to do is the question. I would probably want to go up there and wait for them and smash their face in with a bat, right? But you can't do that, right? So my advice to you, Storm Chaser CC, is call your local authorities. You got to call the cops, right? Not just call them once. You got to keep on breaking their chops until they're so sick of hearing your voice, right, that they're gonna do something to stop this from happening. So, you know, the squeaky wheel, right, gets the most oil. All right there, Storm Chaser. So my advice, don't do nothing, because what happens all the time, good folks like us, right, sometimes take the law into our own hands, and we're the ones in a lot of trouble. While the criminals run free, we're behind bars. So like I said, take my advice, call your local police department, and just break their chops until somebody does something. All right, buddy? All right. This is another little PM I got from 44 Thump. 44 Thump. Alright? Okay. He wanted to send me some fire starter, right? And, hey, why not? If you could send it through the mail, you know, without getting in trouble, I guess I'd like to try some of your fire starter out, too. You know? I'll leave my P.O. box in the link below. And, yeah, send me a little sample, and I'll let you know what I think about it. Alright? So that's 44 Thump, and he's going to send me some homemade fire starter. I don't know. Check your post office rules and stuff. Are you allowed to send it? I don't know. I have no idea. Okay? Thank you, buddy. And thanks for thinking about me. Thank you. All right. Now, this is from Arkansas Prepper. How you doing, buddy? If you haven't checked his channel out, go to Arkansas Prepper on YouTube, and he got some great stuff there. Right? And what he wrote me, it's not really a question, it's just, actually is a little bit of a question, you know. And he writes, all right, I'm wondering, being you're in a heavy populated area, unlike I am, he lives in a town of 2,000 people, would you bug in or out in civil unrest, right? Hey, that's a big question. That's a big question that goes around the internet and everything. And I think somebody else asked me another question along those lines. Am I going to bug in or bug out, right? Civil unrest. All right. My answer to that is I do have a place to go. And fortunately, I do. And if something really bad happened, obviously, I'm going to try to get out of here. But I said it many times in my other videos, too, is that I wouldn't go up to my mountain retreat unless I had a lot of people with me. So my first order of business is to bug in, right? Until, I get friends and family and we decide we're going to move, we're going to move. But as far as bugging in or bugging out, like if it's something, it's going to be, we don't know if it's going to be temporary or long term, but if it's something major, you pretty much know in a couple of days. I would bug in. I would bug in until I had enough people to help me out up in the mountain house, because it's a lot of work. That retreat's a lot of work on security, a lot of work on just a simple thing like getting wood, right, and starting a garden and everything. So you really need a lot of people when you have a bug out location, because you got to remember you're going to be in the middle of nowhere, right? So there's a lot of opportunity from bad people to do bad things to you, right? And there's nobody around to help you. So if you're going to be in a remote location, a bug out location, you got to make sure you have family and friends with you, right? And plenty of supplies while you get there. I'm capable of bugging in my house here in Brooklyn for a very long time. Hey, like I said, if there's looting and there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in the city, I can defend myself, right? And my house is like a fortress. And I always get a lot of those things. A lot of guys say, "Oh, you're in the city, you're never gonna make it, you're gonna die. There's too many people." It's nonsense. That's just completely nonsense. It's just a different style of prepping is when you're living in a city, right? A different way of setting your home up, a different way than you do on the countryside, right? You're not dead meat, right? If you prep the way you're supposed to prep in the city, you'll be okay, right? If you prep the way you're supposed to be up in the mountains, you're going to be okay. It's just two different ball games, right? So that's what I have to say with that. And Arkansas Prepper, would I bug in? Most likely I'll bug in if I know it's going to be a short-term thing. But if I feel like it's going to be a long-term, me and my family and my friends that are involved with my little group, we will move on. And as we're moving on, we're pretty well equipped to defend ourselves. Okay, buddy? Thanks for the question. Okay, now, this is the same, sort of like the same question from one old geezer prepper. That's one old geezer prepper, right? And he didn't even write me a question. He just says, remember that many folks don't have a retreat to bug out to, and their urban house, suburb house, townhouse, or apartment is where they would need to live. And it's the same as I did in the last question, right? If you live in the city, you live in the suburbs, prep yourself the right way. Make sure you have plenty of food, right? Make sure you have plenty of water, right? A means to defend yourself, and a lot of security, right? You might want, if you live in the city like my house, we have a lot of gates. We got gates on the windows, we got gates in the front doors, right? Yeah, they're nice looking gates, but they're still wrought iron gates, and they can protect you, right? So my suggestion to people that live in the city or in the suburbs, anything, look into little security gates for your windows and your doors. A lot of people say, yeah, it's gonna make me feel like I'm in a prison. No, they got like decorative ones and stuff that, they're really nice, So look into it. All right, so thank you, one old geezer. Yeah, like I said before, if you're in the city or if you're in the suburbs and everything, just make sure you're well equipped to withstand at least 3 months, right? If you didn't have to move out of the house, the bare minimum, I would say, is 3 months worth of food and water, right? You want to try to get more than that. All right, thank you, old geezer prepper. All right. Okay. Okay, I got another. Okay, this one is Hillard, I'm sorry, 069. Just wondering what items you store for breakfast meals besides oatmeal and sugar and powdered milk and all that, right? All right, as far as breakfast goes, right, I have a lot of oatmeal, I have a lot of powdered milk, right? What I'm doing now, I'm in the process of dehydrating a lot of fruit. I believe having fruit in your diet is very important to have the vitamins and the minerals from fruit, right? So that's one thing I'm incorporating into my breakfast thing. But as far as I look at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, in an SHTF situation, I don't think there's really such thing as breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? I just think your prep should be able to keep you and your family alive as long as possible, right? Until you could wait out the crisis, or just until you could wait out the initial blow of what's happened, and then you got enough food and water and supplies so you could start working and getting gardens ready and your other supplies like cutting wood and stuff. So that's my advice to when you're looking to start a food pantry for prepping. I don't think it's really worth it to even look into breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have oatmeal. We can eat oatmeal at night also, right? It's just that look for food items that you usually eat, right? That are easy to store, that will last a long time, right? And really, really, like I tell everybody out there, look into dehydrating. Dehydrating is a great way of storing food. It makes your food a lot lighter. You can store it in bins. You don't got to worry about bins being 500 pounds each. Once you dehydrate stuff, it takes all the water and all the weight with it. All right, guys. So in other words, when you're just thinking about your food preps and everything, as far as breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you don't even have to go there, right? Because breakfast, lunch, and dinner is for times when everything is okay, right? So I would just make sure I have enough food preps with enough protein and vitamins and everything that would just keep you going and keep you healthy. And remember, you are what you eat. So watch what you're doing when you're doing your food preps. You know, you might not like a lot of that storage food you're going to be putting in your basement. A lot of salts and sodiums in it. All right, so you might want to just try to look on the lines of making a hobby, making your own food supply, dehydrating, canning is another great way of doing. A lot of people can meats out there. I haven't done any meats yet. You know, my diet as far as the way I eat, I don't eat a lot of meat anyway. You know, so you get just as much. But a lot of people say, well, you need the meat for the protein. There's 100,000 different beans out there. You get the same amount of protein, even more. So I really don't worry about meat too much, right? But get into canning. It's a good thing too, and dehydrating. All right, thank you, buddy. All right, here's a guy that I really enjoy his channel. I tell you the truth, I don't know why, but I love this guy. But he has a lot. He's a smart guy, you know. He's not for everybody because he's a little bit of a potty mouth, but I love him. He's a great guy. Right, his channel is Shall Not Be Infringed. That's his YouTube channel. His name is Shall Not Be Infringed. Right, he has a question for me. What happened to the old Triumph that I had? Tell you the truth, I had the Triumph, and what I did, I actually traded the Triumph for the '79 Honda Super Sport. Right, it was just too much work for me, and it was an old bike, and I didn't have the knowledge to fix that bike up. I didn't have the time, and basically, truthfully honest, I didn't even have the money. So I thought it was a good trade-off. I got this bike for him. I put a little bit of work in, and I know the Jap bike's a little bit better than the we call it the English bikes, right? So I always rode these bikes when I was a kid, so I basically know how these run. The Triumph, I looked at it, I was like, yikes! I just didn't know where to start. Right, but it was a beautiful bike, and the guy I gave it to is in the process of fixing it up. And once he's done, I will take some video of it and patch it up there. All right, Shall Not Be Infringed. The only thing that surprised me when you gave me this comment, you didn't curse me at the end of it. All right, brother, keep the good work up, bro. You've got great videos. I always enjoy watching them. All right, then I got a guy ask me, it's NYN UCC. That's the channel name. Right, what is the theme song? And a lot of people ask me a theme song on my. That's Paul Cody, right? And the name of the song is called Gemini Showdown. If you go through my videos, you could find an interview I did with Paul Cody, and there's a link there where he put it up there where you could download the song, the whole song, and the entire song for yourself. So that's Paul Cody, and thanks for the question. He's a good guy, great musician. All right. Okay, now this guy writes, this is Mike Newman Hayes. Mike Newman Hayes is his channel name. All right. Have you thought of ham radios? Right? And he tells me the license are cheap together and it's pretty easy to pass. Tell you the truth, yes, I have thought of ham radios. I never got around to getting one. Right? And I think in the future, when my pocket allows me to have a little extra cash to go get a ham radio, I would love to dabble in it, for sure. You know, I have some small CB radios, which they work pretty good, but I would like to get into ham radios. But until I get the finances and talk my wife into letting me get one, you know, I would consider it. But thanks for the heads up on ham radios. I know a lot of the preppers out there all use them, and they're a great tool. Thank you. All right, this guy, his channel name was New Yorker with a W in it. So this is New Yorker. He's asking me about my gas engine bike. Is it legal to ride in New York in the streets? It's like a up and down thing. It's like a real gray area. You read some stuff saying no, you can't ride it. Then you see all these other battery powered bikes that go just as fast as that thing does, and they're legal. And it's like an iffy thing. So my word of advice to you: really do your research with DMV. Right? And you probably find out the same stuff I found out, and then it's up to you what you want to do. If you want to take a chance, maybe you don't want to take a chance. That's up to you. But as far as I know, I don't think they're totally legal, and but it's like a gray area, you know. So that's what I got. I drove it around the place. I never got bothered, you know. Anytime if there was a police car there, they looked at me, and that was it. And I didn't get bothered. Not saying that they won't bother you, but that's what I did. That's the only advice I could give you is really check your DMV and you decide for yourself. Thanks, buddy. Okay. Fossey Mommy 2009. Right? And she writes that she has a scooter that has a kickstart on it. Her name is Fossey Mommy 2009. She wrote me a thing that she has a scooter and she was wondering if it was good enough. It has a kickstart. Can it survive an EMP or a solar flare and everything like that? Right? I tell you the truth, I really don't know. If you send me some more information, like the make and model of the scooter you have, I'll get back to you. So give me a PM with the make and model, and I'll give you a PM back. And if it's not EMP proof and all that good stuff, right, maybe I could figure out a way how to convert it to be more safe during one of those situations. But yeah, so I'd be gladly be able to answer you back if you just send me a little information on the scooter you have. Thank you. All right, what's one? Okay, Dryad Woods. Dryad Woods. All right. He loves my videos and all that, and he's regarding the bike. And he says, if the shit hits the fan, like, how would I secure my bike when I'm going out trying to get supplies and stuff, right? And how would I secure it good enough where people aren't going to steal it? Well, if things are that bad, where if you're just leaving your bike or anything outside with a chain on it, and people are just surrounded and trying to rip it off and get away from you, you know, then it's it's not a safe idea to travel outside either, you know. If it's that bad where you got to worry about, even with a chain on your bike, securing your bike, it's like really not worth going anywhere. So, but if you really did have to travel around on the bike or anything like that, you know, you got to defend yourself. You know, you have to have means to defend yourself. And I hope to God that time never comes, right, where I would have to defend myself. All right, so thank you. Thank you for the question. Yeah, if it's that bad, and, you know, I'm going to try to stay in the house. All right, guys. Okay, Lumpa Deef. Lumpy, it's Lumpia Deef. All right? I'm sorry, I screw some of these names up. Lumpa Deef? Okay. Lumpa Deef? All right. Hey, Bo, I have a quick question. Do you need to use Mylar bags after I vacuum seal the dehydrated food? Great video, by the way. All right. What you see me doing is I was vacuum sealing like vegetables and stuff like that. And the reason why I put them in the Mylar bags, because you really don't want no sunlight getting on your dehydrated vegetables and your dehydrated fruits and all that, because it could tend to spoil them a little bit or change their color. So the Mylar bag protects it. Do you need the Mylar bag? No, I stopped using them. As far as Mylar, I really don't even use it anymore. You know, I guess I just don't feel a need for the Mylar bags. What I do is, you know, if there's any sharp items that I'm putting in my my vacuum seal bags, is basically I put them in Ziploc bags first and then seal them up that way so they don't puncture the vacuum seal bag. But what I do after I vacuum seal anything, I buy the tubs, the Tupperware, and I store all my food supply in the Tupperware. But you buy dark colors. You don't want to buy a light color Tupperware where sunlight goes in. You want to go with the dark blues or like browns, right? So that's the only reason why I was using the Mylar bags, but I stopped doing that, right? So it's just basically protected from the sun. All right, thanks. I hope that answered your question. All right, so like I said, I don't use them anymore. I store them in dark bins now. So I just take it, I vacuum seal it, put it in a bin. That's it. All right. Now this is Mr. Slam Bang Boom. Oh, love the vids. Got a question for you. The bread mix that you vacuum pack, how long will it last, you think? I know flour goes rancid because of the oils. All right. Because of the oil, but with no air in the vacuum, are we long-term safe, right? As far as saying, I think it's going to last a lot longer, right? And this question has been asked me a lot of times in the past when I vacuum seal something. How long is it going to last? Can it last 20 years? A lot of stuff that you dehydrate and vacuum seal and even jar or can, right, can last 20 years. It lasts a long time. I wouldn't do the meats, but the meats a couple of years. They could last a long, long time, right? But for me, that's why every food that I'm making for my food preps, all my food preps is stuff that I eat, usually. And I rotate it every year. My year supply is rotated, right? So when I use like 6 oatmeal packs, I'll replace 6 more oatmeal packs. I'm always rotating my food. If I'm using 6 bags of corn, I'll replace the corn. I'll replace the beans, the rice, right? So I always rotate my stuff throughout the year. So I'm not looking, and basically I can't afford really to buy supply food and just have it lay in my basement. $4,000 worth of supply food in my basement that I'm not going to touch and just have there just in case, right? I can't justify doing that, right? So I buy my food. I buy food that I eat. I vacuum seal it, I dehydrate it, I can it, and I use it, right? But I always have that year supply. It's going to take you a little time to build yourself up there, but don't get a headache and say, oh, I got to get my year supply. Little by little, you'd be surprised how fast that builds up. Like I said, enjoy your life. Don't get all stressed out about all this stuff. Little at a time, you build your food supply up, and then you use it as it's going along. So you got to remember, you got to eat what you're accustomed to eating, right? Because when the shit hits the fan, you start eating stuff that your body's not accustomed to eating. It's like a machine. It's going to start rejecting it. You know, you're going to get sick from it. Right? Just take my word on this, guys. You got to understand one thing. During a bad situation, if we get into a situation where you got to depend on your food preps for a year, you want some good food. You know, you can have 1,000 pounds of shit, right, that has barely nutritional value to it, right? And then you can have 100 pounds of food that has a high in nutrition, right? It's going to keep you healthier. It's going to keep you lasting longer, right? There's the old saying, you can always starve to death with a full stomach. Your body starves nutrition. That's what kills you, the lack of nutrition. So you really do yourself a favor, you know. Well, somebody did ask me a question, how can I buy a year's supply of food, right? I forgot their name, but it was a question was asked to me. What do you suggest? I just want to buy my year's supply and put it away. I won't give that suggestion out because I don't believe in doing it that way. I believe in doing it yourself, right? Don't be lazy. I'll just buy and slip. You don't know what you're getting in those boxes, you know, and you don't know how you're going to react to half the food's there, or if you're even going to like it. But no food, I mean, having that food is better than no food at all, right? But I'm just trying to tell everybody, get a proper mindset. Learn how to do the canning and the dehydrating. It's fun. You know, involve your family in it and have a good time with it. You know, it's like when me and my family are doing any kind of canning with like the fruits and vegetables, right? We're all in the kitchen listening to music, having a good time doing it. We're together as a unit, right? So if you want to buy a year's supply worth of food outright like that, it's that survival food, there's 4 billion places on the internet you could look, and there's 4 billion choices, right? So that choice is up to you. My suggestion is make it yourself, buy the stuff that you're accustomed to eating. Alright guys, so I got through it. My first Q&A with Brooklyn Prepper. Alright, I hope you guys learned something from it, and I hope I get better at doing it as I go along. You know, it was a little nerve-wracking doing it. I don't know why. I've been doing videos for a while, but it was something new, right? So, hey, let me show, let me little review. I bought one of those Robitech little drills. I tell you, pretty cool, man. They're nice and small, right? They're pretty strong. They come with a rechargeable battery, like you can swap them out with that little security device I showed you. But I'm really digging this Robitech 4 stuff. Nice and compact. I put it right in with my bug out stuff, you know? But there you go. And let me show you what I got on my helmet. A good friend of mine, right? He makes decals, right? He didn't want me to mention his name on the line, but he makes decals. He made me some Brooklyn Prepper decals. And look, see the helmet? Bang! Look at that! Does that look good or what? Hey brother, thanks for making these for me. They're great. Look at that. Brooklyn Prepper on the smoked helmet. Alright guys, hey, live for today, prep for tomorrow. Alright guys, and I hope you enjoy this, and please send me your PMs. You've got a question, I'll try to answer the best I can, like I said, or I'll refer you to somebody else that can. Alright, live for today, prep for tomorrow. See you next time guys.